All right, I guess it's about that time. So if you're tuning in, awesome, awesome. If you're watching later, awesome. So either way, if you want to pop into the comments and say hi and let us know where you're tuning in from, it's always great to see that. So welcome to another live stream, kind of weekly live stream journal session. Still working in that little emergence journal that I've been working in for a while now. And so anyway, yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and dive into that. And remember, if you have any questions or comments or concerns, pop them into the comments. So anyway, let me go ahead and switch this over and talk about what I'm thinking about today. All right, so I've got, of course, got my little journal. I was kind of flipping through it, and a long time ago, back in May, whenever I was first working on this, I had written on a piece of tracing paper, and I cut some of that up and glued it in strips, and it kind of went through. And so as I was looking through it today, I realized like, oh, there comes a point, like it kind of threads its way through. There comes a point where it stopped, and I remember I kind of stopped it. It's actually right here. So I think this is where it stops. Yeah, so it stops right here, and the rest of it doesn't have it. And I thought, well, wait a minute, I need to finish that. So I purposely saved the rest of the writing to kind of go in there. So that's kind of where I'm going to get started today. And I grabbed some magazine images because I kind of felt like what's in the back is kind of missing some of that, where I have more magazine images kind of up front. So anyway, so that's where I'm going to kind of get started. Let me go ahead and move some of this stuff out of the way, but definitely going to start with the tracing paper. And I just do this one strip at a time, and that way I don't, because I want to keep it in order. If I didn't care about the order, then I could just cut it all up into different strips and be done with it and glue it in any way that I wanted to. But the idea is that I want to continue this to go in. I could go straight across, and I might do that. I like an idea of how it's like discovering insight. But I will cut it when it comes over here. So actually, maybe I'll do that now. Cut it where, because I want it to wrap around from page to page. So let's go ahead and just cut that there for now. And then, yeah. So tracing paper is a great way to add layers into the book. I can't remember if I've done more tracing paper in this book with like drawings and such. I think I may have. It's been a while. I've been working on this since May, so I've kind of done a lot in it. But yeah, so I just kind of want this to line up. And the tracing paper doesn't totally disappear. And I kind of like that. It's translucent. And then I can have it wrap around this way. And then that little face there, little profile opens up. The problem is that the tracing paper likes to curl up, because even though the glue stick is fairly dry as far as the water content, it still has some water in it. And so it's still some moisture, and it can make that tracing paper curl up. There. And So like I was saying, this writing, I'd done it way back in May. It was early on. It may have been, like the second or third day of kind of doing this. I think what I want to do is have this come up and then go across just to give it different direction. So it's kind of hitting across different parts of the paper. And so I just kept the writing, didn't use it for anything else. And I don't know, I'll probably won't use it all, just thinking about how I don't have a whole lot of pages left to kind of do this on. So we'll see. And I'll go across there like that and then wrap around to the other side. So this kind of just goes back to that notion that I've been having of tying pages together, of having that visual narrative, that visual thread that helps connect it and tie things together. I think that glue stick is out. And grab another one. I always keep glue sticks handy. So this one actually still has a little bit of its blue in it. They're totally brand new, they tend to be a real dark blue, and that's just a indicator to let you see kind of how much you've put on and where you've put it on. And then it dries totally clear. But sometimes if they sit around, even if they are new in the box, if they sit around for a while, they can kind of go white, but they're still sticky, still work. And that really curled up. I find when I work with the tracing paper, I tend to get glue all over my fingertips just because it does curl and just does not want to cooperate very easily. Yeah, so in some parts like this, I mean, it kind of totally went clear, or at least you just can't see kind of that frosted part of it. And it just might be because of the value of the paper behind it. I guess I still have quite a few. I might be able to use this all up. We'll see. Might be interesting to try to have it go across here. So I could have it go there. It might just go straight across. So that way, as I'm looking at it, it hits here, but then my eye will jump down here. Well, I probably won't even notice it, but. All right, that's getting a little sticky. That's why I like using this old sketchbook for a glue paper. Some people use catalogs or magazines, or back in the day when they still publish phone books. I haven't gotten a phone book in years, so I assume they just don't haven't published them, because really it's like you can quickly and easily look up any number online. So, but yeah, phone books used to be really nice for this kind of stuff. So one thing with this writing is that by cutting it into strips like this, it becomes a great way of not letting people read what you've written. So I know sometimes folks are a little bit leery of writing or being kind of personal in the journal, especially if somebody else is going to see it. So sometimes being able to obscure the text. So first of all, this gets obscured because it's see-through, and so it's harder to read on certain pages than others. And then by cutting it and having it go through multiple pages, that really obscures it, because there's probably not going to be anybody that's going to sit there and sort of read through it, page by page, just to see what this one strand of written text is going to be. But it's like when I flip back, I mean, there are places where it's very hard to read because of what's going on. I've layered on top of it, and so sometimes it's a little bit harder to read as stuff goes through. So it's a good way of sort of obscuring. I eventually want it to come up. No, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Kind of got stuck down flat. I think I may have accidentally put it down into wet glue. Oops. Yep. I think that's what happened, tearing up some of the paper. Oh well. So you can see where, like, these little white spots where it tore up the paper of the glue, the surface of the glue paper. That's just a matter of kind of losing track of where I had glued and hadn't glued. Okay. So remember, if you have any questions or comments, or if you want to see certain things, you post those in the comments. Um, yeah, the tracing paper is not the easiest stuff to work with. Yeah, that needs to come down a little bit. And then that way can come right through here. All right. We've got two lines left. So this is definitely going to be too long, but I think what I can do is bring it over and cut it. Maybe this can go up that way. Oops, came off. All right, so there we go. Got that. So it all fits in. So now I've got that single piece of tracing paper that starts here and then goes all the way through to the very back. So again, that kind of just creates another thread that helps tie things together. And it might be something that is completely unnoticed by somebody looking through it. Or maybe they will notice it. Maybe they'll be looking through and go, wait a minute, what's this? So, but anyways, just another idea, another way of making pages tie together and kind of creating that consistency. So anyway, all right. So I think, yeah, see, like there's not a lot of collage. I mean, there's maps and there's security envelopes and things, but there's not a lot of other kind of collage. So I think because up here I have other pieces of magazine and the little portraits that I've used, I want to have some more of that as I come back here. So anyway, I think that's kind of, yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay, so I've got this, it's just a page from a magazine and it just had these people. I'm not even sure who they all are, but I just kind of like the idea that there's just all these different people and they're all the same size and they're small. That's the other thing, is that working this small, working this small, there's oftentimes you find collage things that are just way, way too big. I mean, I have no real attachment to these people, but when they go in, they start to create, and I've talked about this before, but it starts to create meaning. It's that juxtaposition. Like when you have this thing that, originally, this photograph was with all these other photos, so it meant one thing. And now it's like, oh, the photos have been cut out and I've selected certain ones to go in. And it really just kind of creates a meaning that you're not really thinking about. Something that you really can't plan. I think I just had an urge to put some value, some paint. So I'm going to grab my Inktense pencils. I'm going to use the same color that I used over here and just go around this just to kind of frame it off. And then I think what I'm going to do is hit this collage. That will help kind of set the security envelopes kind of down into the page. So it just puts a little bit of color around it, makes the edges pop a little bit. I mean, the picture pops because of the red shirt that the lady's wearing. It really pops out against that green in there. So, but by making that frame, it does a couple of things. It kind of ties into what's over here, and then also just sort of helps define the edges of that going around. So, all right, let's look through. I don't know. Drawn to this image down here. Just kind of something interesting about seeing that through the crack there. I mean, it covers up the lips of the profile, but I kind of like that. I mean, you still know that that's kind of the profile. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it got bent. Now it's just a matter of kind of getting it back into that position that I liked. There we go. I'm just flipping through to kind of see if I can kind of figure out what I want to do next. Um, Kind of looking at the lines in the background, and as I flip through, I don't have as many lines back this way. They actually kind of stop here. So I think we grab, trying to find my really small, my extra super fine pen. So I've got a pencil line that kind of goes through and goes from page to page. Actually, I think it goes all the way through to the end. Yeah, kind of goes there, goes down there. Yeah. So I want to continue some of these lines just to, again, tie it in. I mean, because the lines, these lines continue. They go from page to page. I mean, so it's like I did the red one, but then I'd done the thin black ones a long time ago. And it just really kind of, again, it just ties the pages together. And it's something that you might not pick up on if you're just kind of glancing through the book. So I'll have it go through the hole here. And then, so now I have this little line here so that I can then try to connect that whenever I wrap these other lines around it. And I can't resist. I was looking at this and I see that there's a road on the map there. So this could come in and line up with the map. And then here I have the line, but I also have it over here because of the way the book's made, this page doesn't quite line up with the edge there. So that's something interesting to play around with. I think I want all three of these lines to come together into one. And who knows, I might go back later and add more of the black lines or continue the red line. So now this is interesting. I've got, these windows here to kind of play around with. I like it though, like when these things kind of line up, really helps kind of connect, connects this page here to these other pages. And like I said, I'll probably come back later and add more of those black lines or kind of wait and see what happens. I think I'm just going to come back and add some of these back in. Okay. Just kind of flipping through to kind of see, okay, what have I done? What can I repeat? Kind of came back to this page, kind of thinking like, well, I've got these. Sorry, looking for a pen as I'm trying to talk. Maybe I'll just use this one. Uh, I've got these kind of leaf-like shapes, and it's like they repeat here, but I don't know. I've got some here. There's some of the leaves. So I think what I want to do is kind of figure out where to put some more of those in. There's some more. There's some more. So I feel like back here would be perfect for some more drawn ones. So just kind of thinking something like this, but kind of maybe doing it. I don't know. This feels like a good spot. Yeah, I think that's a good spot to do that. Just to bring, just again, to kind of repeat, taking elements from the front, and I've repeated it in different ways throughout, but I haven't really repeated kind of the drawn ones. And so I think this is a good space for that. These are just kind of simple, kind of almond shapes, eye shapes, football shapes, however you want to kind of describe them. Again, kind of wrapping them around a little bit. And I'll probably come back later and um, make the lines a little bit bolder, but I think now I just want to paint. So just trying to think like, yeah, it's kind of purple and pink. There's some blues. I don't know. It's just kind of like, oh, what do I want to paint? You know, I've got this kind of dust. It's called dusky purple, and it's not a real bright purple. It's kind of a reddish violet, but it's a little bit muted. I just I like how the leaf-like shapes pop from the background just by just making it a little bit darker in the negative space. definitely kind of liking how this is starting to develop. Um, so anyway, I think I'm gonna just kind of, that's a good stopping point. I mean, I could come back and paint over here, but I think I'll hold off with that. Um, yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I think that's going to kind of wrap that up for today. Um, Part of it is that I'm just kind of feeling a little bit tired now, and also got a bit of a sore throat. I think I'm getting hopefully just a cold and nothing else. But anyway, um, so I had no idea exactly what I was going to do today. I sat down like 5 minutes before I went on and just sort of was like, oh, what if I did my tracing paper? So really, I guess that's just kind of stuck with a theme today of continuing the threads that go from page to page, kind of tying in that. And I've said this before, but I'll keep saying it as I'm working through this book. It's a really interesting way of thinking about creating a visual book, a visual journal of some sort, is the having those pages tied together and really thinking about the whole thing and not just like single pages or single spreads. Um, yeah, it's just been a really interesting kind of experience to kind of look through that and kind of deal with that and kind of contemplate how that all kind of comes together. Um, yeah, so I mean, yeah, we'll see how it keeps going. But anyway, uh, so thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you being here. Appreciate you either watching live or watching the recorded session or watching on YouTube, wherever you're watching. Definitely appreciate it, and definitely appreciate people who leave comments and ask questions. And I do try my best to kind of respond. I don't always get a chance, but I do try. And if I haven't mentioned anything kind of uh, as you're commenting live, I might, I'll try to go back and comment whenever I sit down and kind of look at things later. But anyway, I just appreciate you being here. Appreciate you kind of tuning in and following along on this journey. And hopefully you're getting something out of it. Hopefully some ideas are sparking. Maybe thoughts, ideas, techniques, materials, whatever. I know Francis put a couple thoughts like that in the comments. So definitely appreciate that. But anyway, hey, thanks for tuning in for another live stream. Really appreciate it. And as always, happy creating.